Hello, this is WD0HCO and this video is about my Hallicrafter's ht40 transmitter. The ht40 is a novice transmitter capable of about 30 watts output RF, and it's a crystal controlled receiver or transmitter. Yeah, basically it's a two-tube transmitter. I think it has an oscillator, a buffer, and a 6DQ6 as a final. A lot of novice transmitters, both homebrew and commercial, in this power class had the 6DQ6 as a final, and it's good for about 30 to 40 watts. This one, let's take a look at it. The controls are very simple. We have the function control, which is has a tune, standby, AM, and CW. Plate loading. Plate tuning, which tunes the final output, band selector switch, grid drive, crystal or VFO switch, and a place to plug in a ht243 crystal, switch for the meter, which in this case it does grid current and it also does RF output, and a place for the key. So very simple. So I'll tell you what, let's go ahead and turn it on. We'll turn it on to standby here, which it's on here, and that tells us the power is on. This is the plate, tells the plate is active. These are not really lamps, but any two neon bulbs. The other thing I don't like about that, besides not being lamps, is that the crystal control is actually not a ft243 holder, but actually two test tips that you see on test equipment. I'm not sure why they did this. Probably somebody in Hallicrafter said, well, this would be a good idea to save 25 cents from actually having a crystal control holder. It does work, but apparently it is very difficult to stick in. You got to put a little bit of force in there. It does hold the crystal very nicely though, but it's not what I consider the best way to do things. Let's take a look in the back though. Back we have the button type connector for the microphone. We have the grid meter adjustment, which you really don't have to adjust, but they did put the pot out there to adjust it. The interface for the transmit TR switch, you can hook up your SX140 receiver here. There's a couple ways of doing it, and you can either control it from the transmitter or from the receiver. In this case, I got the terminals 3 and 4 jumper. That turns on the grid, or that turns on the oscillator, so it's on all the time, and basically you're just turning off the buffer on and off when you key up the transmitter. PL259 here for the output, and of course strain relief for the 110 volt. And that's basically it. Everything is very solid. It's has no open areas where you can expose yourself to high voltages or areas where TVI can escape. You can see the 6DQ6 there. Has a nice area, it warms up. The whole cabinet doesn't get very hot at all. You can leave this sucker on for a good long time. So the key is self-contacting, so you don't have to have a key in there. It's already keyed up. So we can just switch it from standby to CW. Let's go ahead and put it on 40 meters because we got a 40 meter crystal in there. Go ahead and we see that there's RF coming in. You notice plus is up, and we can tune it in for maximum. Let's adjust the there we go, just the plate tuning a little bit there, and then we'll do the plate loading, and that's about it. That's about 30 watts right there, just a drive. That's about it. We'll turn it off real quick, put it back to standby. Now I'm using a Mic Echo 165G dummy load and transmitter, which is this is it right here. I'll go ahead and put it up to the RF output meter on the dummy load. We'll turn up the transmitter, and we'll see just about 30 watts. Just about 30 watts on there. I'll just peak it up a little bit. A little bit more here. And that's about as good as it does. So it does okay on 40. Same thing with 80 meters. I'll go ahead and take the crystal out. Okay, put the 80 meter crystal on there. Let's see here. We'll bend this down. Transmitter's on. We'll tune up. There's the loading, plate tuning. Come on, tune up. There she goes. Okay. And double check the grid drive. Oh, there's a little bit more there. Yep. Take a look, and we see about 30 watts. Again, 30 watts, not too bad. Alright, this transmitter's in pretty good shape. I've checked it on all the bands. It does work. I'll go ahead and turn it off. Couple things to note. The finish is like new. You can see a lot of reflections on there. It's pretty shiny. There's a few little scratches here and there, but nothing like this one here. Nothing really exciting to worry about. Also, I know this transmitter has not been used too much for two things. First of all, the crystal holder is very hard to get, so apparently there wasn't too many people pulling in and taking out crystals here. And the other thing is the way the chassis is, this whole thing slides out, and whenever you slide it out, you tend to scratch the paint over here at the corners. And if you look real close, none of the paint's been scratched off anywhere around the corner. So basically, not too many people have been doing the work in here. I would be willing to bet, just the way things look, that nobody's ever actually took it apart to look inside. So I can't guarantee it, but I'd be willing to bet the original Hallicrafter tubes are in there. Now, I'm not going to take this thing apart. There's no need to. It works just fine. But if somebody did take it apart, it would not surprise me if the tubes were original. Panel's in great shape. Legends is all. You can read everything. There's no scratches, wear marks, or anything. All it needs is a little bit of cleaning, and I would take apart the knobs, take the knobs off the shelf, and give it a little soap, clean them up. And I might do that before. I'm not going to promise that, but I might do it before I pack it up and ship it at the end of the auction, because it's kind of nice to have like a clean radio, so you can start off with. Excellent radio, 35 watts, novice, crystal control. You could add a VFO, like a HG10B or a Heathkit VFO1 or anything like that, but prefer to use crystals. And I've had about 2 QSOs on 40 meters with it. Good T9 reports. Of course, any transmitter, if you mistune it on the plate loading, you could get a chirp on it, but this thing's so overbuilt. The thing is huge. The configuration is about the same as many novice transmitters. So that's pretty much it for the poor HD40. Really hate to see this one go, but we got to make more room. And I'm setting up a Drake 2NT and a 2C and give that a try, see how that works out. So we need the room. So this one's up for grabs. Anybody that grabs it, they're going to get a good one. And you'll be more than happy for sure. Thank you. And this is WD08CO saying 73s. Thanks.